1, 2.
Oh, you high, man. You high. I got a longer finger than you. My name's Fahad.
My name's Javad. We're in Hammersmith, in London, and our school's an all-boys school.
Our school is, I like to call it an ethnic place. There's no racism here, it's all chilled out.
Javad and Farhed are mates and history partners. They'll be learning about the World War I period through the eyes of the historical figure Walter Tull, a footballer, an army officer, and a significant black Briton. They'll spend the next 6 weeks studying Walter Tull's life from cradle to grave. As we join them in Dan Linden's history class, they'll explore the impact of one man on history.
And this picture involves a person who could be argued to be very historically significant. But that choice actually is going to be down to you. You have to make the decision whether you think this man here, Walter Tull, whether you think he is someone of historical significance that we should be studying.
Like when you first think of history, it's like more dates and stuff like that. But to me, dates of course come with it, but it's more like about what people have achieved and how it changes the world now and how like it goes back a long way, history does, and it interests me.
All I want you to do is just write down in your books everything that you can see going on in this picture.
Well, the white woman sitting down and the two black men standing.
Yeah.
Field marshal or something.
Look, he looks like he's got a uniform.
But that man just looks like a normal guy.
That man looks like a normal guy. That one looks like he's got a uniform, so I think he might be some sort of general or something.
Okay, Javad.
One of the black man on the right, he looks like he's in the army, and he looks like a general or something, and he might be looking after the old white woman. I think that helped to give me the idea that he was a general, because I saw his uniform, his army uniform, and it showed the white lady who was sitting down was something to do with him, and they really cared about her because they were around her, and that they all know each other, and they're all family or they're all friends, something like that.
Who do you think this woman is? Ahmed. Nice guess. It could have been their mother. Their mother was white. Their father was black. He was from Barbados. This woman actually is the adoptive mother.
To me, it's surprising that a white person, because in them days there was a lot of discrimination, it was surprising to me that a white person took on children which were black.
These documents are going to give us a little bit of information about Walter Tull's history. Now, those of you who grow up to become historians, there is nothing more exciting than being given original material which virtually no one in the world has ever seen before.
I just think it's just information that someone's found. I don't find it as interesting as certain others. How do you know?
It doesn't say hospital name. It's brought at home or something.
Javad and Farhed are getting to grips with the detail of the sources.
Look, his mum died 14 days before his son's birthday. Steve.
How can you die of breast cancer and lung cancer?
Smoking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's called Bertha Susanna was born in 1881, yeah, and she died in 1881.
Where, who?
That one, listen, look where her birthday is and look where her death day is. 1 month after.
Oh. I thought that, like, when the child died young, I thought, like, the family didn't have enough money or didn't have the right food or didn't have the right medication to treat the child at that time, and
it also makes you think about maybe there's a difference in wealth in them days. Maybe black people, or maybe they never got as much money as the white people made.
Walter Tull, it was the son of Daniel Tull. It was a black family who were from Barbados, and Walter's dad, Daniel, was a carpenter. When Walter was 7, his parents died, and he was taken into care, and soon after he was taken into care by a white lady who looked after them. When he grew up, he became a footballer, playing for an amateur side, and he was so good that Tottenham Hotspur signed him for the first team.
Walter Tull's professional football career was interrupted by the start of World War I. He was one of the first to join up as a soldier in the Footballers' Battalion.
Now, what happens if your regiment, your pals, let's call it the Fulham Battalion of Middlesex, if we all go out and fight a battle and all of us get wiped out in the battle? What is going to be the impact of that? What's going to be the effect of that? Javad?
Like the family members might join together and say, let's go as well. Like say like the oldest brother goes of all the families, then like if they die, then the second oldest brother is going to say, let's go to like get our revenge for our brother or something like that.
Not quite. It's almost the opposite, I'm thinking of that.
At least they will like all mourn together, like, so they all like, understand each other's feelings and stuff.
Well, that's true, but you've got a key point there. They would all have to mourn together. If you had the whole village wiped out, what a devastating effect that must have on those families, on that town. Yes,
no one will go to the army.
Maybe people would not want to go to the army. Maybe people would think this war is not such a great thing after all.
I don't know, maybe like all the families might react against the government. Or like some families actually might do the opposite and like want to go to the war just to like get revenge for their family.
General Sir Sidney Lawford, commanding officer of the British divisions on the front. And he is talking about Tull's leadership as a soldier, okay? I wish to place on record my appreciation of your gallantry and coolness. And he goes on to say, you were one of the first to cross the river prior to the rain.
Like when we read of something, and if the source is like very descriptive and it helps build a good picture.
Walter won several medals during the war, including the 1914-15 Star. He was recommended for the Military Cross but was not awarded it.
Now, why was he not able to receive the Military Cross? Fahd?
Because he was a black soldier and they weren't allowed to receive such important medals.
Okay.
It's racist, obviously, because white people were classed as better than and they had better jobs, and obviously they had better jobs and better quality of life because of the colour of their skin.
He was also receiving treatment for trench fever in 1916 that a truly remarkable event took place. Walter was asked to go to the officer training school in Scotland where he graduated, becoming the first black infantry officer in the British Army.
Here we have the first direct evidence of Tull breaking the barriers, okay? The first black man in the British Army to take command of white soldiers. Jack Fahd.
Was it against the law?
They had to effectively change the law.
They had to change the law because of Walter Tull.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's something that has actually happened, and it's not
fiction,
fiction.
it's real.
It's real and what happened, and it has and sometimes it has a great significance of how life is now.
The war's been on for 2 years. He's been in the army for 2 years. He's now writing to his brother to tell him how he feels.
He died in the army, so did he survive?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, man, you know them ones.
Right, I'm going to give you another 6 minutes to write this postcard. First black officer in the
British Infantry. As you might know, I have become a second lieutenant. I hope you are proud of my achievements. I have finally broken the colour bar. It feels good to be the first black officer in the British Infantry. I have now joined the 23rd Battalion of Middlesex Regiment. I enjoyed myself up in Scotland. It's a bit chilly, but overall it was a good experience. Love from Walter.
Lovely.
Walter was one of the first people to join the Middlesex Regiment of 1st Battalion of Footballers. He was in the army for a long time, and then he went to Scotland for a training camp, and he became the first black officer in the history of the military and stuff like that, and he broke the colour bar to get there. So that was an achievement.
In 1918, Walter Tull was killed in action during the Second Battle of the Somme. Like many British families, his brother was informed of his death by telegram.
So, it actually says, deeply regrets Lieutenant W.T. Tull, Middlesex Regiment, killed in action, March the 25th. The Army Council expresses sympathy.
Before that, I never even knew what Telegram was. Like if you want to tell something, just like email them or something. They use telegrams.
Okay, so we're going to have a look at the death of Walter Tull.
The first thing when they said he was dead, I asked myself, how did he die? That's the first thing that came in my head. How did he die and where did he die?
Okay, so he got hit in the back of the neck and it came out through just underneath his eye. So it would have taken off probably the front of his face.
Surprised that how can someone die like that? Like, what's the chance of him dying like that?
Why do you think Tull was not facing the enemy. Javad?
Or was he trying to tell the others what to do? Trying to direct the others on what to do.
Okay, so what was he demonstrating, maybe, at that time?
Good leadership.
Right.
It's like an educated prediction that he may be like leading his like squad or whatever, leading his squad into battle, and he must. That's how he got shot through his neck and out of his right hand.
Because he turned his back to the German
GBTs.
We are going to do a very, very quick mind map activity. First of all, single words only, anything you can think of connected with Walter Tull.
Orphan Army football. Welsh.
What comes into your head?
Black.
black infantry officer. Be specific.
Change your colour, please. Change your colour. I want you to branch off and write as many other words connected with those words you've made, first of all, in that second
Football
colour.
player. He's an amateur player. Then he went to Tottenham. Then he was also connected with racial issues.
So when he's in the Middlesex, what's it called?
And his army, he was broke. Calabar. I thought World War I was just about like England and Germany and all the other countries, but then you realise like it's not just about them, it's about other people like black people who like Walter Tull who led white people, which has never happened before that time.
What we're going to do is to use the knowledge that you have been building up over the last 6 weeks to make a film about Walter Tull.
I'm starting off with Walter's football career and how he started off playing football in an orphanage, then he moved on to captain, then Tottenham, and now I'm doing how he moved on to Northampton.
The match between Tottenham and Bristol, when Walter was playing, he was booed and Bristol fans were making monkey noises, and this was significant to black people. Because this was significant because it's racism.
Have a look. Talk me through.
I'm starting off with him playing football in an orphanage.
Yeah.
So then how he moved on to Clapton Town and Tottenham Hotspur, Northampton, and then outbreak of the war, and how he later became the first black police officer.
Okay. So at the moment, what you've got is a lot of fantastic description, but what we need to do is take it up to the next level and do the explanation, do the analysis of why he was significant and how he was significant.
Can
That's
I
what you
get
need
these
to
last
do.
2 bits?
Yeah, that's fine. You know.
It's not really about World War I, it's about what Walter Tull achieved during the time of World War I and stuff like that. So it's an insight in how his life would have been and stuff like that. To me, history you're supposed to get from everyone's point of view. So yeah, so it's good to see it from Walter Tull's point of view and other people, how other people thought of Walter Tull and stuff like that.
I agree.
He later died when he was leading his men, when a bullet entered his neck and came out of his eye, and they couldn't get his body back because they came under heavy military fire by Germans, so they had to leave his body there. So no one knows where his body is now. It's probably buried somewhere in like Belgium or France, something like that. That's the story.
To see one of the lessons from this depth study in greater detail, watch Walter Tull, Race, Football and Black Britain 1909.